Cheltenham Festival starts on Tuesday. Looking forward to 4 great days of racing. Kicks off 1:20 with the Supreme Novice Hurdle. The horse I like here is Old Park Star. He's currently the 5-2 favourite, but I really like him. I'm impressed by him this season. 3 wins from 3 over hurdles. Very impressive at Cheltenham earlier on, and backed up with a demolition job at Haydock in the Grade 2 there. Nicky Henderson trained, Nick de Boinville will ride, obviously. They've won 3 of the last 10 renewals of this race, with like Altior and Shishkin, those kind of horses. He could follow in this mould. I'm quite keen to take on the Irish Raiders here. I think a lot of their horses have been running in very heavy ground over the winter. This is going to be good to soft ground, good in places. I think this horse will relish the slightly quicker ground. That's Old Park Star to win the first. Hopefully follow up in the second, which is the Arkle Novice Chase. Lulamba, 13-8, same jockey, same trainer, Henderson, de Boinville. Again, he's been really impressive this season. I think he's won all his starts over fences so far. Grade 1 winner, back just before Christmas at Sandown when he won the Henry VIII Novice Chase there. And last time he was out in open company against the older horses with a bit more experience, and he came through and won that as well. That was a Grade 2. But yeah, he's a strong stayer. He'll finish well. Henderson de Boinville won this last year with Django Bay. I think he's a similar type in the fact that he might get outpaced early on, but I think he's a very strong stayer, so he'll come through and win at the end. Again, I'm keen to take on these Willie Mullins horses. Kopek de Board's only had 1 run. Not an ideal preparation for this, if you ask me. Lulamba is currently tied for favouritism at the moment with him. So I think I'll stick with Lulamba there, 13-8. He's my favourite. But yeah, I think an early double there from Henderson de Boinville, Old Park Star in the first, Lulamba in the second. I think we can get on the double. Next up is the Fred Winter 4-year-old plot horses. The horse I like here is Saratoga, trained by Porrig Roach. She's currently around the 7-1 mark, owned by JP McManus, who won this race a couple of years ago with Brazil, who was the full brother to Saratoga. Mark Walsh, obviously the retained rider for those silks. He's coming here for the ride. 7-1 I think is fair enough each way. Price for a horse that's basically been bought to do this. As I say, it's a complete plot job in this. It's currently had the 3 runs, including a run at Naas in what has become a good indicator to this race over the years. So that's Saratoga at 7-1. Also, someone who's got a good record in this race is Joseph O'Brien, the trainer. JJ Slevin's been booked to ride Glen to Glen, currently around 9-1. He was put away after a couple of wins earlier on this season, possibly to set a handicap mark. So they'd be the 2 against the field in this. I say it's a wide open handicap. But yeah, Saratoga will be my main selection, 7-1. I'll have a small saver on Glen to Glen. Next up, we've got the Ultima change position this year. It's now at 320. Again, it's a big handicap for the 22 runners here, so I've got 2 selections. My main bet will be Jaguar, 4-1. I think he's favourite at the moment. Won at the festival last year in a play over 2-4, now stepping up in trip to over 3 miles. But this is a weak renewal, I think, and he is the one that's unexposed at the trip. As I say, he's got the form in the book, having won last year at the festival, and he was second on trials day when pulling well clear of the third, it may say. He's got to defy a mark of 152. He's quite high up in the handicap now, but Iroko's in there at the top weight to keep his weight down. I think there's more to come from him at this trip. He's 4-1. He is well found in the market, but this is a race where favourites and those at the top of the market tend to do quite well. So Jaguar will be my main bet. If you want one at a bigger price, I say most places are paying 6 places each way, so we can sneak into the money with an outsider. Imperial Saint would be my bet for the Johnson, White and Hobbs stable. Currently around the 22-1 mark. Not been to Cheltenham at the festival, but has raced well at Aintree off a mark of 144. A bit like Jaguar's done most of his racing over the intermediate trip of 2-4, 2-5, now stepping up in trip to over 3 miles. I think he can run well. and he ticks a lot of the trends. So that's Jaguar and Imperial Saint are my two selections in the Ultima the 320. Next up, 4 o'clock, the feature race of the day, the Champion Hurdle. Lossie Mouth's your short price favourite here, 2-1. She's probably the most likely winner. I would put her up, but I just can't get away from Golden Ace. Now I've seen her drift out to 10-1. That's Golden Ace, defending champion, previously winner at the festival in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Like I say, last year she won the Champion Hurdle as well. People always crab her form, saying, oh, there's fallers in the race. She's been very lucky, very fortunate. It's true, but she is a multiple Grade 1 winner, having won at the festival last year, having won the Fighting Firth up at Newcastle earlier in the year. She always gives a run in. A lot of these got questions to ask. I mean, Lossie Mouth dropped back in trip. Not sure that suits. The new Lion, I just no idea how good his form is. He's not really beating anything. And Bright Days Ahead, I'm not sure she likes Cheltenham that much. I think she'd definitely prefer a bit of cut in the ground. As I say, good to soft ground. He's going to be riding fairly quick, fairly lively. Golden Ace, 10-1. She's ultra consistent. I can't see her out the first three. I think she's a cracking each way bet. And you know, if some of these fall, some of these disappoint, she could sneak a second Champion Hurdle. Stranger things have happened. But yeah, 10-1, I think she's a cracking each way play. Penultimate race of the day is the Plates, sponsored by Sun Racing. It used to be run, I think, on a Thursday, now run here on the Tuesday. And the one I like here is Down Mexico Way, trained by Henry de Bromhead. Dara O'Keefe takes the ride. Unexposed 7-year-old. It's only had 4 starts, which is the minimum you need to qualify for these races. I say completely unexposed, won 2 of its 4 starts. Currently around the 9-1 mark, so it's fairly well found in the market, but I think that's a decent enough each way price. Last time was just hunted around in a Grade 1 over 2 mile 1 at the Dublin Racing Festival. I'm not sure that's its ideal trip. Step up here to 2 mile 4 should suit. Races off a mark of 145, which is the same in Britain as in Ireland. Quite interesting, a lot of the horses get put up a couple of pound, £3 or £4 maybe. This is kept on the same mark as its Irish mark. As I said, it's completely unexposed, had the 4 runs just to qualify into open company. Yeah, a lot to like about this horse. Down Mexico Way in the 440. Final race of the Tuesday is the 520. It's the National Hunt Chase. Once again, this has been opened up to a handicap now. It used to be conditions raced. The horse I like here is Grand Jest, trained by Joel Parkinson and Sue Smith. Sue Smith obviously won the Grand National probably about 20 years ago now with Aurora's Encore. This is a similar type of horse. Stays all day. 14-1, a cracking price for a horse that's had runs in open company. I like that going into this kind of race. It's got a bit of experience. A lot of the horses running this have only raced in novice races. This guy's had 5 runs, many of them in open company. He's won 2 of them. Both of his wins are at Haydock, which might be a bit of concern. Haydock obviously quite a flat track. Will he handle the undulations at Cheltenham? We don't know. But, you know, he jumps well. He stays really well. 135. Obviously, he's gone up a few pounds since his last win in the Grand National Trial at Haydock. But I think he's better than 135. I think he's a really, really smart horse. And at 14-1, I think we can chance a few quid in him each way in the last of the Tuesday. So that's Grand Jest there in the 520. And that's all for the Tuesday. Hope you find a few winners and good luck. Please gamble responsibly if you're having a bet.